Hello, it's Jack with my Roadtrek Simplicity, and I'm going to show you a little bit about the electrical system on a Roadtrek today. This is the panel that's overhead, over your driver's seat. Simple as that to come out. On the back, sometimes you don't see these things, but there's a list of the different 110 volt breakers and also your 12 volt fuses, which are on this side. This is similar to the panel that you'd find in your house. The difference is it's got a 12 volt side on it also. But I'm going to pull this off. First thing I want to tell you is I'm not an electrician, and I don't recommend that you do this because it is 110 volts. Unless you're very confident with your abilities, I would not recommend that you get into this box at all, but I just wanted to show you what goes on inside of it. I've got a little tester here. My power is on right now. It's a little cheap tester, but it does work. As you can see, it's sensing the voltage coming through here, so that's 110 volts that are coming through those breakers right now. Okay, there's another couple of testers that you can use. One is this little unit right here, and it's got a neutral side and a hot side. You can just touch it to your neutral bar or your ground bar. It really doesn't matter much, but there it is. You can see that light up right there. That's on the hot side of the breaker. I'm running to the neutral bar there. Same thing here. I can use this little tester and do the same on the ground side if I want to on those. But that just shows another little tester. I kind of like this one because it gives you a reading of what's going on. This gadget is a multi-tester. I've got it set for AC voltage, that's alternating current voltage versus DC. Your fuses are DC, your 110 is AC. And same thing on this, I can touch it to the black goes to the neutral or the ground again, and if I touch the hot side on here, you can see I've got 122 volts coming out of here. That's another little tester, actually gives you the voltage. This first breaker is a 30 amp, and that's your main breaker that shuts off the power feeding the rest of the breakers. The 20 amp, the next one is your air conditioner breaker. It's dedicated just to the air conditioner. There's also dedicated to the microwave as a 15 amp breaker. This 15 amp breaker, they've even dedicated one that goes right to the TV and the DVD player. And then this big one is the ground fault. And that's the one that a lot of people have problems with. Ground faults are sensitive. They do end up breaking sometimes. And I'll show you basically how this works. This is a test button. And if you want to test your ground fault, you push the button and it kicks the breaker. And that tells me that I've got no power coming to that breaker. Unlike your house breakers in your bathroom where you have a test button and you also have a reset button, this is not a reset button. You can push it all you want and it's not going to reset anything. To reset this breaker, you just can't turn it on. As you can see, it wants to kick itself back off again. To reset it, you have to turn it off completely and then you can turn it back on. And once you do that, now I've got power going to again. So that's basically how that works. You want to test it, kicks off, I got no power, I have to turn it completely off, back on, and now I got power to it again. This breaker box is similar, or at least the 110 volt side is similar to what you'll find in your house wiring. They have two bus bars. This bar over here is your neutral bus. This is a grounding bus. So when the wire comes in, it comes into those little tabs in the back. And those little tabs are what's carrying all the juice. As you can see, they're hot too. The wire comes in through the breaker. That goes to that little hot bus bar in the back. And that's what all the breakers are connecting to, getting their 110 volts. The other part of the wire, which is the white, is the neutral. It goes to the neutral bus. And then the ground, on the grounding, goes to a grounding bus on it. I'm going to turn off the inverter, and I'm also going to make sure that it is not plugged in to short power. I don't want any power coming here, then I'll test it again. So let me flip off the inverter. Inverter's off, and I know I'm not connected to short power. I'm going to test it again. I've got nothing. So I'm confident that this panel is dead. Okay, if this breaker has broken, which has happened on occasions, just slip your finger under the back of it here and kind of pull it out and back. And what I'm doing is I'm pulling the breaker off of that tab that's back there. There's also two little hooks that hook onto this little plastic bar right here. That hooks onto the bar. That little slot slides onto that tab, and that's how a breaker is connected. So basically now I've got a breaker that has 3 wires coming out of it. If I was going to change this breaker, I would just unscrew the little terminal screw, and I can pull the wire right out of the back of the breaker. I would do that with the other breakers, or the other wires, and just change them exactly as they are. The white goes to the white, and this breaker actually has a little white dot there to show me that. But the white goes to the white dot, slide it back in behind the screw, tighten the screw down. And that is how you would change that. Now, this is ground fault, and so they're running both the neutral and the hot or the black wire into it. They also are running another one, another neutral to the neutral bus bar. This little pigtail here runs to that neutral bus bar. And you change that the same way. You just unscrew the screw, pull the wire out, and put it in. So now I've got my new breaker in. To hook it back on, I'm going to catch that little plastic tab with these 2 little grooves, right? I don't know if you can see that up there, but right there, that little plastic tab is going to catch on those 2 little grooves, and then that slot right there is going to slide onto the tab that supplies the breaker. So once I have it on there, I'll wiggle it on there a little bit, and there it is. Now, I've pushed it up. It's even here. And it's hooked on the back. It's not falling out. So there it is. Breaker's changed. Simple as that. These breakers right here, I told you they were split breakers. They do that to save room. Each one is actually separate, running a separate circuit. Like, for example, this was running the microwave, and this was running the TV plug that's back there. And they're using the same tab to supply the power to it, but then they're splitting it and they're running off. That just saves room. They could put more breakers in. In this case, there's 2 extra tabs. They could have just used fold breakers, but it's actually probably cheaper to buy the double breakers like that, so that's why they do that. Anyway, let me turn the power back on, and I'll probably have power again, and I do. So there it is. That's how it works. 2 little tabs on the back, slips in, and that screw goes in the center, tightens it back down, and if I had a bad breaker, I'd have a good one in there now. Anywho, the little fitting goes back on, and that's it. Thanks for watching.